Hi everybody, it's Andrea from AndreaTooley.com. Thanks so much for watching this video. I am so sorry that I haven't posted a video in a couple weeks. Life has been absolutely crazy. 2 weeks ago, I was in Florida for one of my best girlfriend's weddings and just getting life back together after leaving town and being on vacation for the weekend was nuts. So I didn't make a video. And then this past weekend, I was on call, and it was my first full weekend taking call, which means that I was the primary ophthalmologist for all of Mayo Clinic, on call on Friday, all day Friday, Friday night, all day Saturday, Saturday night, and all day Sunday. And then luckily I didn't have to be on call Sunday night. But it was just a wicked weekend, and I was there at the hospital. Luckily, Friday and Friday night weren't too bad, and Saturday day wasn't even that busy. I was there a little in the morning and a little in the evening, but I ended up being at the hospital all night Saturday night. I got about 2 hours of sleep separately, like an hour here and an hour there, and then I had to be back at the hospital like 6 a.m. Sunday morning after being up all night Saturday, and then I worked basically all day Sunday at the hospital too, so I was just wiped. I was so tired, and it was super busy, and I didn't have time to do anything, let alone make a video. So that's why I've been kind of MIA, but I had a really easy day in clinic today, and I got off super early, so I actually went to the gym, so I'm in my gym clothes because I just got home, but I was able to get in a workout and have some extra time, so I thought I would make a video and say hey and just kind of catch up with everybody, and I'm sorry that I've been gone. So anyways, if you're tuning in for these videos every Monday, kind of my goal is to answer common questions that I get from people who are pre-med or interested in the healthcare field, and then also post videos interviewing my colleagues in every different field of medicine and also other fields of healthcare, so like pharmacy, physician assistant, physical therapy, speech pathology, all kinds of things like that, veterinary medicine, occupational therapy. I mean, really the list goes on and on. I want this channel to be this comprehensive resource for everything pre-health, really. So that's kind of my goal, and I'm really working on some great interviews and great videos for you guys. I know I'm getting a couple medical specialties that people are requesting a lot, and you really want to get an interview from those types of people. So I hear you. I love your comments. I love your requests. I promise I'm working on it, and just stay tuned because all of that is coming down the line. But today I wanted to answer, this was just a really quick question that I thought that I could answer. I've been getting a lot of emails and comments too about people asking about being in a sorority or being in a fraternity, and just I figured I could kind of share my experience with that because I was in a sorority in college, and just kind of shed some light on my opinion on being in a sorority as a pre-med, and yeah, just kind of put that out there. So if you are wondering about this, my experience is I started becoming involved with my sorority Delta Gamma when I was a freshman in college, and I had leadership positions within my sorority all through college. I was the social chair during my sophomore year. I was the vice president of philanthropy my junior year, and then I don't remember what I did senior year. Probably something small because I was checked out and ready to go to med school. But basically, I think that you can definitely be in a sorority or a fraternity. You can absolutely balance being in Greek life with being pre-med or pre-dental or pre-health or PA or pharmacy or whatever it is you want to do. And I think a lot of this kind of will parallel what I said and what Jake said in my interview with Jake Capito, and that's about being a college athlete. So if you want to check out that interview, he has some amazing tips about just balancing being really busy in college because he was an athlete in college. And the same thing goes for being in a sorority or fraternity. So the first thing that you need to think about when you're deciding whether or not you want to be in Greek life is that it's a time commitment, first of all. And so you're pledging your time and everything, your effort and all of your extra energy to go into this organization that you're going to live there, belong in, make friends with. So think about whether or not you want to have the time for that, because it definitely does take up a lot of your time. And then another thing is figuring out if you kind of like the feel and you like the vibe of Greek life. For me, being in a sorority was one of the absolute best parts of my college experience. My girlfriends that I made through DG are my best friends today, and they're my closest, most wonderful girlfriends, and I wouldn't trade the relationships that I formed through DG for anything. And so just the fact that I was able to cultivate such incredible friendships through that made everything worth it for me. But some of the drawbacks of being pre-med and being in a Greek house is that you really have to be self-disciplined because there's always things going on. There's parties, there's activities, there's volunteering events, there's like we would raise money for all different Greek organizations on campus, and there was always some event to go to help out some other house with their philanthropy or their charity and things like that. And so you really have to just be on top of your schedule and know what you have time for and what you don't. So a good example of this is, and I think maybe I've said this in another video, when I was a sophomore, I was the social chair for DG, which meant that I planned all of the events. So all of our formal dances, our like mixers with other fraternities, and all the fun stuff that we did as a sorority, I got to plan. But sophomore year was my hardest year as a pre-med, and I was taking all of my really hard science classes. And so I literally didn't go to a single event. And I was planning them all and working with all the vendors and getting it all set up, and I didn't get to go to a single one because I had to stay home and study. And it was terrible and so sad. But I just knew that I had tests and I couldn't go. And so I think, that's not always the case. And I went to plenty of events, freshman and junior and senior year, but just the way that it worked out sophomore year, I had to say no to a lot of things. And so you have to be able to know your schedule, balance life, and just remember your priority. At least for me, number one priority was getting into medical school, and so doing well in college. And number two priority was like everything else way, way down the road. So getting good grades was number one, no matter what. But the other great things to think about being in Greek life is that you automatically have all kinds of opportunities for volunteering. My sorority did a lot of work at the School for the Blind, which just worked out for me because I knew I was interested in ophthalmology. And so I got to spend time with all these amazing kids, and we got to help raise money for visual research and help for people who are visually impaired and just amazing things. And so being part of that organization sets you up to help get lots of volunteering. And it's a great thing to put on your resume when you're applying to medical school. So if you do join Greek life, besides remembering to just kind of stay on top of everything, know your schedule, know yourself, know your commitments, what you can and can't do, I think that the best thing is to get as involved as you can. So hold a leadership position, really get as involved as you want to, because when you're putting that on your application for whatever professional school you're applying for, if it's medical school or whatever, then you want to say like, yeah, I was the vice president of finance and I helped control all the finances and the dues for all of our members, because it's going to show that you weren't just in a group to like hang out and party or whatever. It'll show that you were really accountable and very mature and could help hold responsibility and do all these amazing things. And so I think that it can be a great asset and something wonderful to have on your application to show that you were involved and to show that you were a big part of a big organization. And you can even start things within your Greek houses. So I started a different charity when I was there to raise money for Orbis, which is a group that helps people who are visually impaired worldwide. And I was passionate about that organization, and so I wanted us to raise money for them, and so that's what I did. And so I think there's a ton of opportunities for friendships, for leadership, for community service, and I'm a huge fan of Greek life. I think you can definitely do it as a pre-med, and really the only drawback is that sometimes you're gonna have to say no and you're gonna have to miss out on fun events. But if you live in a Greek house like I did, then you're always there at home studying when everybody gets home. Or for me, I would always be awake. I would wake up like as my girlfriends were getting home at 4 a.m. I would be like up with my cup of coffee studying. And so then you get to catch up on what happened overnight. while they were all out having fun and you were home sleeping or studying. So just things to think about. It's kind of my personal experience. I hope that shed some light for you and just kind of answer some of your questions. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Leave your comments below. Love hearing from you. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the great videos ahead. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.